Ooh, it's Halloween. Welcome to our spooky Halloween edition of the Jock and Nerd Podcast live on Blab. Let's go.
It's the Jock and Nerd Podcast with your hosts, Anthony and Imran.
Jock and Nerd. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
And my name is Rug Boy. That sounds weird.
He's the Rug Boy.
And he's the nerd. That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. We're clearly missing one part of the formula here. Listeners and everyone, we're live on Blab. The Jock was not able to make this recording session. However...
Bro, do you even podcast?
We have...
What is he doing? Is he lifting weights? What's he doing?
I think he had a jock accident. He may have possibly dropped a bench press and crushed his larynx.
He pulled his groin, and not like in a normal way that he does.
Shit. No, that did not happen, but feel free to spread that rumor around. That's absolutely fine. He's out showing a friend around from out of town, whatever. He sent us some audio. We will hear from him later in the show, but this is episode 53 of the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Rugs, me and you are running this thing. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I got my costume on.
Yes, you
I'm
do.
wearing a Superman costume.
Yeah, you are wearing an awesome Superman costume.
What happened? Oh, no. Why did that happen? Imran, don't leave me here by myself. That's scary. Imran, where are you? Imran, come to me, Imran.
There, I'm back.
Oh, okay.
Let me make you a co-host. I misclipped the thing. Anyways, Rugboy, you are now a co-host, so let's keep this thing going. Hey, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm trying to take a screenshot because we both have costumes on for this Halloween edition of the Jock and Nerd Podcast. I'm wearing my usual Spider-Man hoodie that's become part of my outfit to get on the show, and Rugboy is wearing a wonderful Superman costume, and he has the cowlick. Rugs, I can't believe you got your hair to look just like Christopher Reeves. Well done.
Yeah, I worked hard. I used Crisco, I used WD-40, I used everything.
You try lard? A little bit of lard holds that right down.
Yeah, did some bacon grease. It's good shit.
Oh shit. Right on. Well, thanks and I have dimly lit myself. It's not as spooky as I thought it was going to be, but whatever. It's almost Halloween. We're in the spirit. Rugs, for the people listening at home, I want to just say visit jockandnerd.com/live listener. You will find all our Blab replays and live shows. This show should be there unless I screwed up the embed code. It'll be there later. Whatever. jockandnerd.com/live to get here. Rug Boy, how was your week? You made a little appearance on our friend Elisa Jordana's show yesterday, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I went on Kermit and Friends like in the last hour. I popped in. And she asked me like a lot of questions about like my origin story.
I caught that. It was very interesting. We learned a little bit more about Rugboy's origin.
Yeah. So there's kind of a spooky origin, and it was Halloween appropriate. But anyway, so I basically told her like, the reason why I'm a Felty.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know if a lot of people know the story on the podcast. Do you want to give them a quick, here's the one of these.
Here's the rundown. Okay, well, the funny thing about this was I was telling Elisa, and she just was like not getting it for some reason. She was kept on asking questions, and I was like, I don't know if she was asking questions because she didn't care about what I was saying. I'm sitting there spilling my guts out, and she was just like trying to question me in some way.
Yeah,
did you feel that at all?
I saw that. It was I don't know if maybe she wasn't. It's a very weird concept. Explain to the listener, and then they can judge that maybe why Elisa was having trouble with this.
All right. Well, this is simple textbook stuff.
It is.
All right. Basically, it's okay. My mom was in Romania on vacation, and she went and saw this gypsy lady. All right. The gypsy lady had a puppet, and the puppet bit my mom. I guess she pissed off the gypsy lady. And then when she had a child, the child was cursed to become a Felty.
Oh, shit. Makes sense to me.
Basically, I was born a human, and then I became a puppet.
Hey, that's Makes sense to me. I don't understand. Yeah, that's what would happen. It's some kind of gypsy curse.
Does that make sense to you? I
yeah.
mean, do I need to further explain this?
No, it's pretty straightforward. But I've known you for 20 years. You know, I know this story, and maybe it's just I'm familiar with it. But you know, it's a kind of tragic, and you know, you teased a little bit about me. You mentioned you and myself. You know, we both went something that changed us on the outside. And next time you're on that show, you know, give me a little shout. I will jump in, and she can ask me about that. Or
oh, okay, that'd be cool. We could parlay that. I think that's good. I think everybody should know your puppet story.
Yeah, I have a puppet story.
I think you were born a puppet and you became a boy. I think that's what.
It's a reverse Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Zowie!
Figure that one out, people. But check out, I'll put a link in the show notes, jockandnerd.com/53 to that segment with the Rug Boy on the latest episode of Kermit and Friends with Elisa Giordana on Spreecast.
Oh, right. Cool.
It's a fun show. You got a lot of fans.
I got to tell a little bird. I forgot to do that.
Everyone tell a little bird. Hopefully some of those Kermit and Friends don't seem to be around right now, but we're going to carry on with the show. We got some news to talk about, Rugs.
All right, let's do it, man.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
So I pulled a couple of links that I thought were interesting this week regarding this little movie called Suicide Squad, you know, directed by David Ayers, coming out next year. Empire Magazine had a bunch of covers, a bunch of photo shoots, and there is some really interesting photos of the Joker. Did you get a chance to look at these? I'll have the links in the show notes. Ruggs, did you get a chance to look at these photos here?
Yes, I did.
What do you think? I'm kind of intrigued. There's one that I found someplace else. I'm going to post it right here in the blab. Let's see if that worked. I don't know if that worked. But I'm kind of digging some of it. What do you think? Basically, we're looking at, and on the cover of Empire, he's got no shirt on. You see all his tattoos. He's got like a purple pimp suit on, and he's wearing sweatpants that say, I think it says Arkham on the side, and he's barefoot, and he's got like a pimp cane.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously like a image of him like not fully dressed or something. I don't know if he stays that way through the whole movie. He just keeps his Arkham pants on, his Arkham sweatpants on, and bare feet.
Right.
I don't know. That's weird. But I mean that's the image that they release is kind of weird.
Yeah, and it says, and there's another one where he's holding like electricity. Now, there's this other article that I found on Screen Rant about David Ayers. I think it's Ayers and Leto talking about to Empire part of the article, and he references that like they were really inspired by Los Angeles like gang culture for the look of the Joker. And when I read that, it kind of clicked the way he looks now. I don't know. I don't mind that. It's definitely a different take on the Joker.
I think to me, it grounds him. It puts him into a place where he's too much like a common thug. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like it seems like this Joker was like a street criminal and worked his way up, and there was quotes where like, his teeth he's got the gold caps, like imagine like he just got his teeth bashed in the streets being a thug. Do you think that's the wrong way to do Joker?
I don't know. I mean, my feeling is that the Joker is like a whole thing in a class by himself. You know what I mean? He's like a true original.
Yeah.
And I think that this makes him like every other hacky fucking bullshit criminal in every other movie. Has tattoos, he has any guy on Crenshaw is going to have the same amount of tattoos and the same amount of gold teeth.
It is a little cliche when you think about
it's very
it.
cliche. You want the Joker to be something like, Hannibal Lecter didn't have tattoos, and fucking John Wayne Gacy and all these crazy serial killers and stuff. They were not like these guys that you would ever assume were threatening. And they're psychotic.
That's what made them scary. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's actually takes them down a peg. I mean, that's the thing. If you have to get tattoos and like do all this shit to look tough, It's weird. I give way more credit to somebody who doesn't have to do all that shit and we wear the uniform of somebody who's tough.
I feel like it takes away the whole point of Joker being scarred and kind of going psychotic if he does it to himself.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Also, the age really bugs me. If this is a 40-year-old veteran Bruce Wayne Batfleck, Leto looks like he's in his mid-20s. Like that, how does that work out?
He's 40. He's in his 40s.
Oh, he is? He looks,
yeah.
All right, maybe the makeup looks better.
He looks really good for his age. That's all.
Yeah, really. So as long as there's a history there and they kind of reference, that he's battled Batman for a while, and he's just not new to the scene, I think that should kind of save it. But very interesting stills from Suicide Squad. There's also Harley Quinn and Deadshot. Let's not forget that Will Smith is in this fucking movie. I feel like people have forgotten that because it's being overshadowed by this Joker now.
Yeah, like Harley Quinn's got tattoos on her face. I mean, it's okay, whatever. Like, I'm sure the movie's going to be great.
She looks great. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, she's completely. I can't. My big comment on Twitter was, I want Jamie Presley to dress up as Harley Quinn for Halloween.
Oh my God, she'll look just like her. Jamie Presley looks a lot like Margot.
She would win the costume contest.
I'd be like, is that really Harley Quinn? So yeah, the movie, it's yet to be seen. I'll put this really cool shot. It's atmospheric. I try to put it in the blab. It's not working, but it's him talking to a pre-crazy Harley Quinn in a straitjacket and the light streaming in. He's backlit. It looks like like an illustration. That one photo got me excited more than the cover photos.
Well, look, this movie is going to be it's going to be a mixed bag. It's probably going to have some cool action. It's probably going to be fun. And it's probably going to have some crazy Joker shit but I think we're going to get the biggest dose of Joker that we've ever gotten, I think.
Yes.
And that's the only thing that worries me because this is the most screen time Joker's going to have, and it's going to be this Joker, which I give Jared Leto's probably going to knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
Because he's method and shit. So
what do you think about all that? You think it's a little pretentious the way Will Smith is like, I have yet to meet Jared Leto. He's been in the Joker role. Like,
no, that's hype. That's hype.
That's a little much. You think it's just hype for hype's sake?
Yeah, because they're trying to get everybody behind Jared Leto.
They're trying to give him like a Heath Ledger vibe where Ledger actually did kind of go way deep into that role.
Yeah. I don't think you need to do that. You just have fun with it. Mark Hamill doesn't give a fuck. He just fucking shows up and fucking does it.
And just goes crazy and has a good time. That's right. Like, I mean, it's called acting. Just act, motherfucker.
That's right, dude.
There's another article also, this was interesting, that just came out on Screen Rant. It's David Ayers calling this Suicide Squad. He's saying this is going to be comic book movie 2.0, and he's kind of here's the quote. He goes, these movies are about defeating the evil alien robot from fucking Planet X before it destroys the world with its ticking clock. Who the fuck cares? But you do this story about struggle and isolation and people who have been shit on that suddenly get thrown this lifeline. That's not so bad. I'd like to think of this Suicide Squad as the comic book movie 2.0. Again,
they talk about being anti-heroes. Is that's like the new thing that hasn't been done yet?
It's not a new thing. Maybe it's comic book movie 2.0, but this is the Dirty Dozen. Wasn't that the movie? This is basically the idea of convicts getting a second chance and to be heroes to get their way out. It's not completely original. Maybe it hasn't been done in the comic book movie style, quote unquote. But I think they gotta hype this up a little and set themselves apart from even Batman versus Superman. They really have to carve out their own niche for this Suicide Squad.
It's gonna be Con Air.
Yeah,
that's all it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. It's the same formula. So I don't know. There's a lot of high res images. They look kind of dope. Like Killer Croc looks cool, and I hope maybe he tangles with Batman because he's a great Batman villain. So hey everyone, thanks for joining us on the Blab. People coming into the room. This is the Jock and Nerd Podcast. We are live. Stick around for the end of the show where we open it up and get your thoughts on this week's comic book geek stuff. Give Rug Boy lots of props. Hi to Intelligible 7 and Brittany Mitz. Con Air does not sound like something I can trust, she says. And let's hope that it's a better comic book version of Con Air. Another piece of news that also just came out. Jessica Jones will reportedly feature an appearance from Daredevil.
Oh shit!
All right, cool.
This is what they're saying. We might not have to wait till Defenders for all of it to come together. Basically, they're confirming that Claire Temple, Rosario Dawson, is already confirmed in the show. They're confirming that Matt Murdock. You're going to see Matt Murdock in Jessica Jones. Maybe not Daredevil, but you will see Matt Murdock interact with Jessica Jones, which is awesome.
Okay. I mean, they need to do that. They need to make the universes collide. I think it's great that the shows are all intertwined with the same characters.
Yes, that's going to be awesome. The Netflix shit is solid. I can't wait for November 20th, 13 episodes, Jessica Jones all at once.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to binge watch the shit out of that.
And I'll binge the shit out of that. Hey, everyone in the blab, do us a solid. Click that little tell a bird button right now. We'd really appreciate it. Ruggs, what do you say we move on to this week's comic book TV shows?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right on.
Jock and Nerd.
Jock and Nerd.
Prepare to be spoiled.
That's our official spoiler alert for this section, because this is the part of the show where we talk about this week's comic book geek TV shows. And if you haven't watched it, you're going to be spoiled. I apologize, whatever. Go back, go watch something else, come back later. But we are live on Blab. Thanks for everyone for joining us in the room. Stick around for the post show, and we'll open it up and get your thoughts on things. Ruggsy,
Yep.
we had a new show this week.
We had my girlfriend.
We had
Supergirl.
your cousin's show of episode 1, season 1 of Supergirl on CBS, titled, cleverly enough, Pilot. It's just called Pilot.
Whoa.
Right? It's not about a pilot. It is the pilot. Now, this episode was leaked months ago. A lot of people have already seen it. Brittany Metz says, I love this. Thanks, Brittany Metz. You're awesome for hanging out. A lot of people have seen this leaked. I did not watch it until it aired. Ruggs, did you watch it illegally?
Yeah, it was identical to what the leaked property was, so there was no difference. You did not miss anything or whatever, so you got the whole thing.
That's a good disclaimer. Now, I'm going to start with, like we said, it's the jock, the nerd, and Rug Boy. I'm the nerd. The jock is out of town, but it elicited such a reaction from him, this show, that he immediately sent us a speak pipe to play on the show. You ready?
All right, let's hear it.
All right.
Hey, Imran and Rug Boy, the jock here. I know I'm not on this show, but I watched the premiere of Supergirl on its premiere date. Didn't catch the bootleg version, and I had to fucking comment on this. Holy fuck, this show was terrible, I thought. Felt really rushed, like they were going from one thing to another and not letting things settle. Nothing ever really felt like it was settling in, because they were jumping from one plot point to another. The biggest issue, though, with this show so far is just the acting. It's fucking terrible. The way the actors and actresses are delivering their lines is so fucking cliche. It doesn't feel like real conversation. No one feels like they're really actually talking. Everyone just feels like they're reading lines. Right now, I'd give this show a huge thumbs down. And they said Kryptonese as a language instead of saying the Kryptonian language. Kara L's character says Kryptonese. What the fuck is that? Only redeeming things about the show, and I only had 90 seconds, so I'm making this quick. Melissa Benoist, who plays Kara, she's pretty cute, and I could see her becoming, kind of charming. She is somewhat likable, and Jimmy Olsen's character is somewhat charming as well to start. But everything else was so fucking cliche. Maybe the show can get a lot better, but right now I'd be surprised to see if this show lasts an entire season. I thought that pilot was terrible.
I said the same shit when I saw it, and I told you about it 2 months ago.
Sometimes I wish Anthony would just speak his mind and not beat around the bush so much, and just tell us what he thought.
I didn't hate it as much as he did.
Right? The Kryptonese was, I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know. I'm really perplexed by this show, because to me, as for this one episode, it was just kind of there. It was all set up. It was all exposition. I agree with a lot of what he said, but
it was on rails. It was just like chugging through.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah, it's like, we got to get all this out. We got to set up the villain, the thing with her sister. We got to set up all this, establish this. I was like, wow, dude. But as far as the reviews are concerned, it seemed like a lot of people largely like this.
Because people want a fucking superhero that's a female that is powerful. And you know, as stupid as everything else was in the show, they did deliver that. She fucking stops a plane.
Yeah.
She fucking rams into a fucking semi.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Kicks the shit out of some dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it delivers on that standpoint alone right there.
But okay, so let's just talk about the episode real quick. Like it's like I agree, it felt rushed. Like okay, so she kind of flew around a little bit. First of all, Clark's kind of a dick for just like dropping her off and leaving. Like he doesn't come and visit or say hi.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't
either.
he bring her like a gift on her birthday? Something like she hasn't seen him in 10 years, and he's this big super dude. Intelligence 7 in the chat makes a good point. Pilots generally do that. The whole on rails mythology of pandering to the producers. They got to get all this stuff out. Really, to me, the second episode is way more accurate of the tone the show is going to take because they kind of have gotten all that out. So, of course, I'm going to give it a chance. But even as a pilot, man, it's just like she figured things out so quickly. The suit got resolved, and now two people know. I did think she was charming. I did think Jimmy Olsen was very charming. And he's kind of the Superman mouthpiece.
Did you think that she was like, you know what? I just kept on thinking of Anna Faris the whole time that she was acting.
You nailed it.
Wowie zowie.
Yes.
She was acting like Anna Faris in every movie. And I was like, no, like why? You know, first of all, Clark Kent had to do this whole like, I'm a nerd thing and to whatever. But like she's way too much like Superman in every way. You'd think that she would carve out her own persona.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You know, maybe she is like, if you had to fucking hide the fact that you were fucking super powerful your whole life, wouldn't you be, and you didn't have Clark's parents, you were raised by Kryptonians, you felt a little bit more entitled. Like the whole fact that she gets here when she's a teenager or a preteen, her attitude would be completely different to this planet.
That's true. She'd be
none of that is even discussed at all.
Yeah, and Intelligible 7 in the chat makes a good point. She looks amazing in the costume. I'll tell you what.
Oh, she's hot.
Yeah,
she's hot, and like her name is Benoist. It's like it's like she's moist.
It's one word away from moist. Melissa Moist.
I'm going to make Benoist moist.
She's probably never heard that before. I think you should try that line on her if you ever come across her. But
hey, Melissa, you ever been moist?
Oh shit! Geek boner, fucking nerd.
Look, I'm gonna put this link in the show notes. There's another. It's a really good article by Devin Faraci, and he kind of says the one thing saving the show is that it's setting itself apart from Man of Steel. It's showing. I think part of it is a female hero, but really a hero that just does the right thing because it's the right thing to do, which we did not see from Man of Steel. And
well, that's cool,
right? I
like that.
I also think reading the reviews and hearing the responses from people, I feel like we're really hungry for like a kind of a hopeful, bright show like this. Like I think people were like feeding into that it was so hopeful and just straight up heroism. Maybe because we don't have a lot of that, and the viewers are starving for that kind of thing.
They'll get bored of that in like 2 episodes,
right? Yeah. Also, I Am Larry says there's some great Easter eggs with Helen Slater and Dean Cain, kind of paying homage to, and it is very Donner universe. It's that kind of cheery tone, but the lines it was so polished and so like Anthony said, like they were just reading a script, and she was a little too bubbly, but it's the pilot, so I don't know. Like it was just
but this is the thing that disturbs me. All right, maybe I read maybe one or maybe 2 reviews that even stated half of the things that we just did. We really picked it apart in a way that, okay, this is where you're going wrong here, and nobody in any review even said, okay, this is a little bit, too close to Superman. It's like too close for comfort. And it did move too fast. It didn't have the kind of gravitas that you really need to sell some of this stuff, the heroism, and have that awe-inspiring moment.
Yep. But I think the problem is we are hardcore comic book nerds, and perhaps we are not the audience for the show. They are trying to pander to the largest audience they can. And to their credit, I have some numbers. The ratings, it pulled in 14 million people. Now, it helped that it has fucking goddamn Big Bang Theory as a lead-in, but it reached their demo in male and female that they were trying to get. So I think they're happy. Everyone seems to be like, oh, it was great. It worked. They got everybody. So this is going to be
hype.
What's that?
I think it's hype. I think,
Yeah.
okay, they got lucky.
Yeah.
And now they're making it like they have the best show in the business.
Good luck making 22 more episodes and trying to not wear out the fucking super bubbliness of the thing, you know?
Well, I think that they could do something good with it, but all the tools are there. It's just the writing that needs to be tweaked. It's like someone needs to recognize the problems. That's all.
Yeah, and I didn't want to spend too much time on this, it being just the pilot and a pilot that has been leaked for months, and I'm sure it's been written about and podcasted about ad nauseum by now. But I wanted to edit our two little bits. We'll pick it up next week at episode 2 and see which way it goes.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, moving on.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
All right, folks, thanks for joining the Jock and Nerd podcast live on Blab. It's our weekly comic book TV review show. Stick around for the end of the show. We're going to open it up. We'll get your thoughts on pretty much whatever. If you're in the room right now, click that tell a little bird. Do us a solid. We'll love you forever. Ruggs, let's talk about this week's episode, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Season 3, Episode 5, titled 4,722 Hours. And for you math nerds and Gregorian calendar nerds, that's about 6 months, I believe.
Holy shit. So was she in there for 6 months or she was in there like according to S.H.I.E.L.D. time too, like normal time?
I think she was there according to our normal time for that 4,722 hours because they counted down the hours. She was there for 6 months.
Okay. So they know that time has passed and a lot has gone on. So she just hasn't talked about it.
Yeah, because I think in S.H.I.E.L.D. time it was 6 months when the season picked up. They're like, it's been 6 months. Do we even think she's still alive? Now,
gotcha.
So this was the episode where it started right at the end of last season when Gemma gets sucked into the monolith, and it showed us what happened in the 6 months. And I really, really enjoyed this episode. I thought they did a really good job from the beginning, where the credits were different. You knew you were getting into something special.
It was very cool. I really enjoyed it. I think that they should do more of this shit.
Yes,
and feature just featuring Gemma and her like Castaway episode, I guess.
Dude, it was Alien Castaway, which is what I loved. And everyone loves the Castaway story, like when you can rely on one person and you spend a lot of time with them, you really get to know them. It was Alien Castaway, but I agree they should do more of this. I think these kind of episodes will pull people back and change people's minds. Those guys who are like, I'm kind of done with S.H.I.E.L.D. It's kind of the same thing. This was awesome because it was a little departure and they showed you what you wanted to see.
Well, they're capable of writing something that's kind of poignant. You know what I mean? That has an effect.
Yeah.
So, I mean, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s got that power. It just doesn't use it all the time.
Yeah.
They need to do it more.
I am Larry in the chat has a good question. He says, I tried to watch this in season 1. I didn't get hooked. Should I try again? I am Larry. Here's what you got to do. This show was not great until about episode 15 or 16 in season 1, because for some reason, while they built a show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had destroyed S.H.I.E.L.D. and they couldn't talk about it. And as soon as Captain America Winter Soldier came out, tied right into the show got a lot better. And that's where I would recommend you starting. Hey, everyone, thanks for jumping in the Blab. This is a Jock and Nerd podcast, and we're talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I thought Gemma did a great job. I loved that there was no sunlight, that she was so hopeful in the beginning, and I love that we got to spend that much time with her and got to know her a little bit better. Ruggs, what'd you like about the episode?
I just liked the whole thing. It was dark at the planet. It had like a little bit of sunlight, and she figured out a plan. She had this one thing. It was great that she had this like realization. She's like, okay, it was a lot like The Martian. If you really get into it, if you watch the movie The Martian, like Matt Damon decides, hey, I'm fucked on this planet. I gotta
survive.
I gotta deal with surviving, and I gotta start fucking nailing it down one by one. What do I gotta do? And she did the same exact thing, and she had the same realization, and it was kind of cool. I think actually she did a better job than Matt Damon in some ways, because she had that first panic. Like Matt Damon never panics in The Martian.
Oh, he's just cool, Mr. Cool the whole time.
He's just like, all right, I guess I'm stuck here. You know, I got to do something.
How was that? I heard that, like, for a Ridley Scott movie, The Martian kind of was a little bit of a commercial version of Ridley Scott, maybe.
It was. It felt like a Ron Howard movie, but it was very good.
Wow.
It was very good. I loved it.
A Ridley Scott movie should not have a Ron Howardy feel, though. That's just not right.
This is true, but I mean, it's a commercial success, so I guess he's doing the right thing.
Yeah. All right. Back to the thing here. She starts drinking alien water. This planet is very similar to Earth. The gravity is perhaps a little bit bigger, and there's like sticks and wood and water, and I guess the water is drinkable.
Yeah, if the gravity is stronger on that planet, she's probably stronger when she comes back to Earth.
Oh,
she's been fighting against that gravity, so she's probably like built up muscle.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So it goes on for about half the episode, and then suddenly she falls down a trap hole and she's in a cage, and we find out there's another human dude there.
Oh shit.
That was kind of cool because we know this monolith has been sucking people here for hundreds of years.
Yeah, so it was like a guy from 2001, an expedition, like a space expedition or something.
Awesome.
Or, not a space expedition, but they,
yeah.
Well, they're not astronauts. They didn't go on a ship. They went through the portal.
They went through the monolith. Yeah. And so Will starts to tell him the planet is evil. His buddies went crazy and killed themselves, and he had to kill one guy because he just went nuts.
Do you buy that story that he killed him? That everybody killed themselves?
Well, we see there's something. This is my question: is who is the Shroudy guy? Is that a hallucination? Is that the planet making something, or is that a Marvel character? There's some theories on the web that this could be a Marvel character.
Okay, who's the character that they're saying it is?
Well, first of all, if you remember, comicbook.com has this neat article, and let me run you down who they think it is. But if you remember that scroll that Fitz found, it had one Hebrew word on it. Remember what that word was?
It was death.
It was death. So comicbook.com, I'll put this link in the show notes, shockandnerd.com/53. Could it be Wraith? You familiar with Wraith?
Yeah.
A lot of people have been Wraith. It could be the Ebony Maw, who is featured right now in the Avengers. Hickman's run of the Avengers as part of the Cabal.
Okay.
It could be Death. Marvel also has like a female Death character.
Yeah, it's a woman character.
Yeah. And she's like, Thanos is in love with her. Like, that's what drives Thanos, is he's literally in love with Death.
But they would never put that Death in the movie because they're going to use it for Thanos in the Avengers. They were never going to soil that property on TV. Sorry.
That's true. And then they have a bunch of just throwing out random things. The Beyonder. Maybe it's the Beyonder.
I don't know. I don't think it's anybody important. I think it's a red herring.
You think it's a red herring? It's just a dude.
Or a pickled herring.
Oh, I love pickled herring. It's a great German treat.
Exactly.
But okay, so the other heartbreaking moment I thought to me was when she gives in and her moment of weakness, and she doesn't think she's ever going to make a bet, and they have some alien boning.
Geek boner.
I think she wanted it, though. She really wanted it.
She was just looking for the opening, looking for a.
No, I think that ever since that she went down that hole, I think she had the eye for the guy.
Well, I mean,
like, once the guy proved that he wasn't crazy enough
to
her.
Yeah.
She was all in on it.
I love how he couldn't believe she was real. But yeah, they had a very interesting chemistry because it's like not her type. But I just felt bad for Fitz. But how awesome is Fitz hearing this? We read with the revelation at the end of the episode is she's telling Fitz all of this. And I was like, oh shit, Fitz just heard about her and Will and how she abandoned him at the end to be saved. And what does Fitz do? He gets up. You think he's pissed? And he goes, don't worry, Gemma. We'll get him. We'll find him. I was like, what a good dude.
Yeah, because he loves her.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
And it's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. He wants her to be happy. And we find out in the post-button scene that Will made it. He's still out there.
Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, I don't know. Is this guy going to be is he going to be a secret bad guy? Like, that's going to like come and fuck everything up? Or is he going to be a member of the team? It's a lot of possibilities, you know. That's the cool thing about S.H.I.E.L.D. It always introduces you to something that you can't really call right away.
Right. It gets you invested and you want to watch the payoff. Intelligible 7 says, could it be Uatu, the Watcher? I don't think that we're going to bring the Watcher in, but that'd be fun. Isn't the Watcher dead? I think in the comic books. I don't remember. But no, overall, dude, I was really happy. I was really happy with this episode. I don't think we're gonna find out. We're gonna get back to that planet for a while. It's probably gonna come later in the season.
Yeah,
But-
they're probably gonna play around with some doohickeys and finally get to it like in a couple episodes.
Right, which might tie with something else and blah blah blah. But great episode of Shield. Nice break from everything, even though they were kind of going back and forth between two storylines already. This is something that I'm glad they sat us down and they showed us. Here's everything.
Well, that's the thing. See, like they don't make you wonder about shit. Like they're not like Lost. You watch Lost and they'll never explain anything, and they'll just like fucking give you bullshit.
Yeah.
I like shows like this. They build up enough mystery, and then they tease it for a couple of days, a couple episodes, and then they actually reveal, and it's well thought out.
And for this show, this was a risky move. This is a ballsy episode for them to rely on one character and hope that people stick with him. Now, real quick in the chat, Pine Creek asked, "Is Rugboy British? He has the teeth for it." Hilarious line, by the way. And Quest to MPW, are you really talking to a puppet?
Oh shit.
Now, Rugs, I'm sorry.
Dude, you're roboting a little bit, just so you know.
Okay, I hear you good on this end. Rugs, I know you hate the P word, and he is not a puppet. He is a felty.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Oh boy. Okay, hold on.
Let's fix that before we get into this whole thing.
Okay, let me try this.
Just maybe refresh.
Okay, stay in the room. I'm gonna refresh.
Ah, refreshing. See, Imran likes to talk to me, and I'm not a puppet. You should look up the term felty. It's you guys shouldn't use pejorative terms when you're talking to people. We don't use, bad terms to describe other people. So you got to give me my respect as well. So felty, please. Thank you.
He is the Felty Police, and we respect the Felty community. They're huge fans of the Jock and Nerd podcast live on Blab. Thanks everyone for checking this out. Click that little bird. I think that's good for Agents of Shield. Rugs. Let's move on to the next show.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
How's that?
Okay, let's hope this is solved.
Well, you let me know if it isn't. We are going to be talking about this week's episode of The Flash, season 2, episode.
Yeah, you're cutting out still.
I'm still cutting out.
Yeah.
Why? How about you're coming in fine on my end?
Hold on. Let me try something.
You refresh.
You want me to refresh myself?
Refresh yourself with a little Old Spice there.
Let me say slap on a little Old Spice.
Slap on a little dab will do ya. Thanks,
All right.
thanks everyone checking out the Blab. This is the Jock and Nerd podcast. Visit us at jockandnerd.com for all our audio feeds. We're boys going to do a quick refresh. We're going to talk about this week's Flash. Did you guys see it? What did you think? I love this show. Is a lot of fun. Here comes Rugs back in. Stick around for the after show, people. As soon as we're done, we're going to open it up and get your thoughts on stuff. Welcome back, Rugs. How am I doing?
Still doing it a little bit, but maybe it'll stop. Who knows?
Okay. All right. This week's episode of The Flash was called The Fury of Firestorm. And again, like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode this week, I really like this episode too of The Flash. It's starting to get back to crazy Flash form.
Can everybody hear? Anybody in the chat? Can you guys hear Imran okay?
Yeah, that's a good question.
He is
am
roboting. Oh, okay. So it's happening.
Nuts. Okay. How do I fix this? Oh, I sound like crap. How do I fix this? Let me see.
Anybody have a suggestion?
I have. Hold on. I have a good connection.
All right.
I apologize. I don't know why. Hardwire. No, I'm on. Okay.
Stop downloading porn. That's what it says. Are you in Chrome and you have everything else closed? Now you're frozen.